Hey everybody, this is Grace. In this video, I'm going to talk about the golden child syndrome, as some would call it, and I'm going to give a bit of an alternative viewpoint on this. First of all, I see it as pop psychology, the whole concept of the golden child, and I'm not a fan of pop psychology. I am a social and behavioral scientist, and I did focus quite a bit on family's dynamic, family systems. Anyway, I do want to say, like I said, it's going to be an alternative viewpoint than what I hear more lately, or past few years. And many people want to say that the golden child is always narcissistic. I am not an always or never or nothing, all or none type thinker. There are a lot of problems with people who think like that, and thinking like that. One size doesn't fit all in something like this. And there, of course, a golden child, they want to say that the golden child is a narcissist. Okay, first of all, the person who, in my view, a person who diagnoses somebody as a narcissist, unless they are that person's actual counselor, and that counselor wouldn't be telling people, hopefully, you don't know that. So, anyway, and what about that person who's doing it? But anyway, now they see them as, that this is a person, they're not all narcissists. Can they be? Yeah, sure. Pretty much anybody could be. Okay, now as some see it, the golden child, say the golden child has a sibling or siblings, okay, one or plural. And the siblings see that one is the golden child. The sibling in the family that gets everything they want, they're spoiled rotten, they are mean, hateful, bossy, whatever it is that they determine this one is. Now, first of all, I would say, and some see it as only in narcissistic families, and that's not true. These are all my opinions. I could be wrong. Like I said, I am a social and behavioral scientist. And in this, there could be this possibility. Okay, there could be many. There may be. That the one they call the golden child is was abused by one or both parents, possibly both, but in different ways. Say there is one parent that is narcissistic. Didn't say narcissist, I said narcissistic. Behaviors vary, and they want to groom that child to basically be what they couldn't be, or what they want them to be, like as far as career, or they wanted, they couldn't be very intelligent or very studious or very whatever it is. They try to groom that child to be that, so they can boast basically of that achievement. Okay, for that narcissistic parent, it could be all about them. Okay, how they raise that child. Now that child might not want it, but will the child have a choice? The child could be abused in whatever fashion, if doesn't follow what that parent says. Now the other parent, what would the child be to the other parent? Possibly the same, but what about the child is actually the scapegoat, okay, to the other parent, for all the troubles, all the ills, all the dysfunction in that family. The child is at fault, according to the other parent, and possibly the siblings. Okay, the siblings. Now the siblings could possibly, none of this is that, I might as well say, none of this is that they will, but they could, may, see that one, say that narcissistic parent is giving that child everything that they want, everything that they need, but the child really doesn't want it and doesn't therefore need it. But the parent wants to groom that child to be whatever. So to say, some kind of computer specialist or, something in computers, that parent will buy that child their own computer. This is say hypothetical, fictional. So that child can achieve more. The other children, he or she's not trying to groom that way. So they don't get the same. Now, the dysfunction here is that, plus that the other children see it as that the golden child is getting everything they want. They're not hearing the golden child. If the golden child even mentions it, I don't want this. I want to do something else. I want to be a doctor. I want to be, a fireman or a firewoman or whatever they want to be. But the parent says, no, you're going to be what I tell you you're going to be. Okay, and there's also this possibility that the narcissistic parent or the abusive parent all around will give a lot of attention to the one they call the golden child. Gives a lot of attention because they want that one to represent them, so they can boast, like I said. So they give them a lot of attention. Well, the attention is not always good. The attention could be very negative, very threatening, very, they pay a lot of attention to that child, so that child is going to do as they tell them to do, very authoritarian. You do as I say. But will the siblings to that child see that? Will they recognize it? They're children, even teenage years. By that time, perhaps they've already developed an attitude about that child. That child gets everything they want. They get all the attention. They get. You see, when that child doesn't want it, maybe. Okay, by that time, the child could be so used to it they expect it, but they might not. Also, maybe not. Okay, and some of these say there's more than one sibling. Because they're not getting the attention that they desire, because they, narcissistic people or any of these, some of these, whatever kind of abuser, they can be very charming. They can be very, look like they're the best thing in the world to anybody, including children, their own children. So the other ones say they want attention from that one, but they're not going to get it. That parent is focusing too much on what they call the golden child. What could come from that? Many things, including, like I've mentioned in repeated videos, that of being histrionic. Histrionic personality disorder is also a cluster B disorder, like narcissistic personality disorder, antisocial personality disorder, and borderline personality disorder. I'm not diagnosing. I'm saying the behaviors of. Okay, they could become, in order to get attention, they will do anything possible, perhaps, many of those things, to get that attention. Negative attention, positive attention, they don't care as long as they're getting attention. And that this develops over time, from childhood, whatever way they can get it. Now, if they can get it from the other parent, that's okay, but they see that other parent as inferior to the narcissistic one. Let's just say narcissistic. They're not all narcissistic, okay? They're not all. So they see the other parent as, okay, I got your attention. They get used to having that attention to that parent. That parent may feel sorry for them, that they're not getting the attention they want. They'll listen to the child cry that daddy or mommy is not giving me all the attention I want. But that child can start doing really hateful, mean things to anybody, including the one they call the golden child. Out of their jealousy, their resentment, their anger, they are taking it out on the golden child, who is a victim of abuse. They're blaming the victim. They're taking it out on them. Now, all the siblings in that family could possibly be victims of abuse too, from the parent or parents. So this is a total dysfunctional family system. Okay, pardon this thing, it's messing up. But anyway, now to go back a little bit, this child, the one they call the golden child, that parent is trying to groom them, to school them to be what they want them to be so they can get all the glory from it. This is being forced on them. This is not something they're asking for. They are a child, okay? And that parent expects them to be perfect. Now they're not going to be perfect. Okay, nobody's perfect. but they expect them to be. And there might be very harsh punishments, punishments for anything that they do if they're not perfect in it. Okay. And now the other parent might take it out on that child too, because that parent might want the attention of the other parent all the time, and they're not getting it either. So they're getting jealous. They're becoming jealous, and when that child messes up, as children and anybody will do at some point, that other parent, could do things like make fun of them or whatever. So that child, the one they're calling the golden child, is growing up just like the rest of them in so much dysfunction, such a dysfunctional family, and they could come. Some of the things that could happen is they could become narcissistic. They could become more borderline. They could, have borderline, these traits, these symptoms, all these characteristics, antisocial, or histrionic, or none. Okay, it's not a one size fits all. Okay, they could be, they might want to be the forgotten child or the lost child or whatever child you want to call it. But what's happening is they're being abused. Okay, now hopefully more and more people understand that abuse is not just physical, but it can be physical. Okay, they're being abused in some way, shape, form, or fashion. And simply the thing, like I've mentioned before in video years ago, that they cannot even choose their own career, their own interests, their own likes, sometimes their own friends, children, teenagers, what they, at all their interests, like I said, whatever it is, the parent that wants them to be the one that represents what they want them to achieve and what they can brag about determines that. That's abuse. Okay? And they can have things like anxiety, agoraphobia, so many different things because of the way that parent or parents treat them. Okay, let's see what else. Then, like I mentioned, this about the scapegoat. And the scapegoat, it can be both that other parent, to the other kids in the family, extended family, people, whatever. And they'll blame them and say that they're the problem caused all the dysfunction in the family. They're always to blame. Not always, but most often to blame. Boy, it's easy to fall into that, saying always. But that's what they'll do. And let's talk about the kids who can't see through it. They are blaming that sibling for everything, whatever they can, not everything. See, it's so easy to fall into it. They're blaming them. They are picking on them if they fail. If they do one thing wrong, they're going to say, ha, 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 see, you're not that perfect. Well, neither are you. And as they age, when they age and they learn more, if they learn more about this kind of thing, they may have a very tough time admitting that they are at fault, that they are wrong. They're at fault for the way they treated this person. They're wrong for the way they treated this person. They're wrong for the way they saw this one they called the golden child. They were wrong for blaming the victim. They might have, it's a possibility they won't be able to admit they're wrong. Okay? Because by then, so much jealousy and anger and resentment, they have, they're not going to do it on the parent they want all the attention from, or the one that is so strict, so harsh, they don't want to have it, they don't care. If the other one, they may, could even see physical abuse by that narcissistic parent to that one they call the golden child, but they will deny it because it doesn't fit their view. Now, even as children, as they age, it doesn't fit their view that the golden child had everything they wanted. They were treated, they got all the attention, they were treated so nice, You see, it doesn't fit their view. Oh boy, I thought I'd fix this thing. But anyway, so as I said, there are so many kinds of roles, but pop psychology, like I say, I'm not a fan. And there are other roles this child could be placed in. And some of them are, dysfunctional families, but a lot of the research was done on, that I have seen in my life. Okay, hold on. Actually, I think that's a subject for another day about the research. But I did look up again, try to, on scholarly journal articles, this of the golden child. Nothing anywhere. Nope. Couldn't find it. I couldn't find it. If you could find it in actual scholarly research, let me know. Not pop psychology, not just what you look on the internet and you see somebody wrote a paper, somebody made a video, somebody, just because that's how they feel. But I really do, I'm going to do more videos on this if possible. But I really do want to focus on the other siblings. And what are they doing to that person they're calling the golden child, and why? And how they damage. They do damage to the victim. Another victim, their victim, the victims too. All due to the one parent, but they're blaming that person or one another. And the kinds of games that they play. And, that some of them, the ones like one that's more histrionic, that wants so much attention from that one parent, say if that parent passes away, that one as an adult will look for attention anywhere, maybe including that of the one they call the golden child. They've just simply replaced that parent with the one they called the golden child. None of this is 100% across the board. One size doesn't fit all. All that, as I said, read the disclaimers in the description box below this video on YouTube. Anyway, I think I'm going to wrap this one up, and I'll talk to you on another video. Bye.